It is recording. Okay, well, we will blop into this. What time do you have to leave the house, by the way?
Like 12.
Okay, yeah, that's where I have. I mean, I'm not. We won't be on that long, but
Yeah, I'm like 10 minutes away from the school where I work.
right. And yeah, it's away today, so I just have 6 minute train ride and a little bit of a walk.
Nice. If you want to just go in for lesson time, if you are feeling shit still.
I, I'm okay to put it bluntly. I'm just very farty, so.
That happens.
So I'll go in and keep the hours looking good otherwise. Uh oh yeah, we're recording now. Hey, it's work talk, everyone. You're welcome.
Just for the YouTube crowd.
Oh, I
Because
see.
Matt never edits the videos.
Oh.
No, videos that takes time and effort and stuff. Yep. So let's start this. Welcome to Time Enough Podcast. It's where we jump into all of the episodes of The Twilight Zone and beyond. As always, this is Matt here. Coming back, we got Luke. Hi, Luke.
Yo, what it is. It's your boy.
Last season, I had several people say they did not want miniature, and I did miniature. And then you're like, hey, that was the toy guy. I went miniature. So this is like sort of my trying to make up for the toy episode.
Well, specifically because it was you and Mark going, I don't understand people who collect toys. And I was like, you could have invited me on.
Okay, well, anyway, I saw toys coming. So you're here, and Mercy's here because I assume Mercy screamed at least once.
Hello.
Did you scream at this episode at least once?
I was mostly like, what? But wait. But
Yeah,
it's kind of cruel.
we're more on like the human characters than the doll.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is true. Of course, we have one of those iconic performances. This usually is like one of the first Twilight Zones that gets mentioned. This is one of the ones the Simpsons did,
Yeah.
Oh, we know. We watched The Simpsons right after.
Oh, good. I didn't do that. I may have seen it like 100 times,
Yeah.
but not recently. I did not. I tend not to watch the Simpson parody before I do these because I think I will actually start conflating them.
Well, you always seem to bring me on for the ones with Simpsons parodies.
Oh yeah. Well, that's
So-
fun. I guess I'll go ahead and do a little bit of trivia for this one. Original air date was November 1st, 1963.
Ooh.
They could have put out one day earlier, people, really. October 31st. But I guess you can't change a TV schedule like that.
Oh, so I think as of this episode, Doctor Who now exists.
That sounds legit.
I think it's maybe it's like a couple of weeks out.
Okay, we're close to the Who's. I'm going to mention a bit more of the Who as we do this. Not the band, but Cindy Lou Who comes up in a bit. Jerry Soul.
23rd of November, 1963.
So
yeah, we're like 3 weeks out.
Is that when JFK gets shot?
It's close as well.
It's like one day off, I think.
Yeah. Well, it's just, the Twilight Zone kind of existed in its own bubble. But then right to Twilight Zone finishes, Doctor Who starts, Star Trek starts, JFK dies.
Yeah.
it's like a dividing line in pop culture.
Right.
No, we actually was it 1, 2, 3 episodes from now was preempted because of that, because Twilight Zone actually that was their air day when Kennedy was shot, so they did not put out an episode that day.
Damn.
And an episode or two ago was an episode where they were bringing up like he was Shelter Power Universe, and the way he was proving it was that Kennedy wasn't the president. And I was like, when did this come out? Because does that mean he's in our universe, or does that mean he's in a different one?
Yeah.
Well, any time before November 22nd or whatever it is, it's not a bad joke until after that.
I think
exactly.
Now that you mention it, I think Doctor Who did come out the day Kennedy died.
Oh, okay. That's wild.
I think maybe it was delayed a day or something because of it.
Ah.
I have heard that, yeah.
Wow.
Fun
facts.
There we go. I have more fun facts. Jerry Soule wrote the script, but the on-screen credit is to an ailing Charles Beaumont. But this episode is dark and weird enough for that Beaumont feel, at least. So that's kind of cool. Richard C. Sarafian directed. his directing resume is a little spotty in both films and TV, but he was in the chair for 1971's Vanishing Point, which is a fantastic movie. I think I was trying to find some angle where I could call it sci-fi back when I did sci-fi movies, but I never really worked that out. So you haven't seen Vanishing Point, probably.
No, I haven't heard of it.
It's getting rarer these days, but this episode does feature an original score. This one is from Bernard Herrmann, so can't go wrong with that.
It was cool.
Yeah. Telly Savalas played Eric Strader. He was featured in many 60s epic films such as Birdman of Alcatraz, Battle of the Bulge, and The Dirty Dozen. In 1969, he portrayed Ernst Blofeld in On Her Majesty's Secret Service. And of course, he devoted much of his energy in the 1970s to the TV series Kojak. Annabelle Strader was played by Kojak. Oh, yeah, you recognize Telly. Annabelle Strader was played by...
Oh,
got an explanation. I guess that's good. Annabelle Strader was played by Mary LaRoche. We've already seen her in A World of Its Own here in The Zone. She did plenty of TV guest spots in the 1960s and also appeared in Gidget and Bye Bye Birdie in cinemas. Tracy Stratford was Christy Strader. While there is not much info on her, we already saw her as the little girl lost in Little Girl Lost. Finally, the role of Talkie Tina was voice actor June Foray. You've heard her before as she voiced Rocky the Flying Squirrel and Natasha on Bullwinkle, Cindy Lou Who, and Granny in some of the Looney Tunes cartoons. You will hear her again in The Zone for the final episode, The Bewitching Pool. Bewitching Pool. I don't think it has a G on it.
My goodness.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and hear a prologue. I don't know who's queued up for that.
Talkie Tina, a doll that does everything, a lifelike creation of plastic and springs and painted smile. To Eric Strader, she is the most unwelcome addition to his household, but without her, he'd never enter the Twilight Zone.
Stealing Mark's shtick a bit there. Not that I'm saying, of course, it's completely fitting here. Just noting. He's the one that usually has the prologues where you're like, "Oh my God, please stop!" I mean, again, you were doing the voice; it's fine. But...
Yeah. No, I'm gonna do the whole episode like this.
Okay, that would be a turn of events, wouldn't it?
Interesting.
But yeah, this is Luke, had you seen this one before? Or is this a first?
Nope.
These are all first timers for you, basically, huh?
Yeah. It's interesting because you said it's one of the famous ones, and I had gone out of my way to watch like 40,000 Feet and It's a Good Life. Like I think I had gone out of my way to watch the most famous ones, but this one hadn't come up in that list for me.
I think, well, one, it's got the Simpsons parody, right? And two, it's one of the merch ones because, you know, people sell like Twilight Zone Talkie Tina. So it tends like there's certain episodes which you'll see the merch for when they bother.
Oh, and of course, the eponymous Time Enough at Last I had seen before.
Yes. So I like this one. I thought it was funny that the voice actor did Looney Tunes because as this episode went on, I just started thinking it was turning into like a weird Looney Tunes cartoon, you know?
Well, I like that it never actually went to like Chucky territory. She gets up and follows him. Like, I think it was smarter that it was done like it could plausibly be that he's insane.
Yes, and then just falls down the stairs at the end. You could do that, I guess.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I don't know. I actually thought of that while watching this because that comes up in The Zone a lot. Is this person insane? And I kind of just decided to bear down in my own perception, like, no, this is supernatural. I was like, this isn't fun for me unless it's supernatural for some reason. I don't know why.
I kind of agree because if you take out the supernatural element, like this is just right. Did she marry him without telling him she had a daughter? That seems to be the plot of this episode.
He's bitter because of it.
But like, if that's the case, fair enough.
Oh yeah. But like divorce her. I mean, we talked about it yesterday, right?
It's 1963. It's not necessarily that
divorce
easy.
doesn't exist in their vocabulary. So it's like I'm stuck with this woman who just suddenly told me that she had a child, so I have to love her now. And she's like, "Oh, you're so cruel. Yeah, you put a child in my house, and I don't know her."
And it's like calling him daddy and stuff.
Yeah, and she's like, and he's like, "What in
It's
the world?"
pretty messed up. So like the episode kind of treats it like he's this mean old bastard. I don't know if that needs to get beeped or not.
Yeah, you can
But but like he doesn't do anything that evil besides put a toy in the bin that is threatening to kill him. And on the other side, what she's done to him is really messed up.
Like
Catfished him into adopting a child.
like yeah, I mean he's a curmudgeon, that's for sure. So how did he even attract her in the first place? I don't know, but I just started, yeah, I was thinking that like watching this a few minutes and I was like, it's like some weird treatise on child abuse, like a metaphor or something, or that didn't really pan out in the end, but it did. You start to think about like the psychological behaviors behind child abuse and how it's for, because this child is getting psychologically abused for sure.
Oh, 100%. That child is gonna have need therapy in the future.
But like, and I'm not defending him, but the mother is also not blameless, is what I'm saying. Because what she did is messed up, based on what this episode gives us, right?
Yeah. I mean, season 4, the first episode is In His Image, which also had like, we're getting married and we met a week before, because that guy was not even existing before that, I guess. So so they literally like in a week, oh, we're getting married. So I don't know. Is maybe in the 60s people were more freewheeling about that? I don't know.
But then at the end we noticed they were in separate beds. And I was like, is that a 1960s TV code thing, or is that?
I think, well, you know, you could take it both ways, really. It is code, but it's a area or an example where maybe it kind of works okay, you know?
Yeah.
I see, because I was like, man, if you're sleeping in different beds
and you've literally just got married,
like you should reconsider your relationship.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure she was there for the dollar bills.
Maybe so.
And he was there for something he was promised that did not turn out to be true.
Yeah. I like feeling trapped in your own house. That's a really interesting, that is like it's terror for me. That is horror.
Yeah.
Right?
And I think that whole aspect of it was scarier than the supernatural doll element.
Absolutely. And that's why it reminded me of Amparo Dávila, remember, that I told you. So my favorite author ever, she's a Mexican writer, God rest her soul. Her name was Amparo Dávila, and Amparo Dávila for the American crowd, I don't know. But she wrote this book called House Guest and Other Stories, and I really recommend you guys read The House Guest, because
it's a short story collection, and when I read it, I was like, oh, this is pretty Twilight Zone.
Yes, very much so.
That's why Mercy ended up on the To Serve Man episode, because there's an episode in that about like eating these things that's green.
Yeah. And I don't know, I like the way she writes like the idea of having sinister creatures or like this presence in your house, but she doesn't even describe it, right? So you, the reader, read the point of view of the person who's like, hey, can we throw this thing out of the house? And everybody's like, no, what are you saying? And the thing stalls him. It's a lot of fun.
Could you do a version of this that was even scarier, where we, the audience, don't hear what he hears?
That will be very scary.
So if you did the episode,
iconic, though.
I know. I'm not saying like this episode shouldn't exist, but like just as a thought experiment, a version where you're seeing it from the daughter and the mother's perspective, so you never hear her say anything to him. So you're even more on like,
oh yeah,
are we living with a crazy man?
And you know the stories about men like falling victim of demons or like being victimized spiritually.
Yeah,
and like attacking.
I guess we're getting into like The Shining at that point.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. That's why it's like men being fall victim of that and then becoming violent. For me, that's even scarier. Men are scary, okay, right? But when you add that level of violence, because I thought during the entire episode, and he was so angry, I was like, is he gonna hit her?
Yeah, he didn't do anything violent to the two of them. He just tried to destroy the doll.
Violent, but he never did it physically, right?
Yeah.
He was violent, but he wasn't.
But again,
at least he didn't hit.
He was violent to a haunted doll that was trying to kill him.
Right.
So we have to remember that aspect.
Yeah.
I guess that's where you accept or don't accept that something supernatural is going on. Yeah, you mentioned a Shining. I was sitting there thinking, well, if you had Jack Nicholson or Nick Cage, you could have this guy. You wouldn't need to hear the voice; they would cover you.
Yeah.
Telly Savalas, I think we need the voice with Telly. Not, I mean, that's nothing to say about his acting ability. He's great on screen, but
he's not a crazy man.
Absolutely.
right. He's an intense man, right? So,
yeah, he's a man who's being, I mean, of course, stalked by a doll, but also stalked by his own like regrets and the hate that he's carrying. So he really manages to portray like an angry man who doesn't know what to do with his anger. And then also you add the level of fear of like, hey, this thing is talking to me. So he's pretty good. I like that a lot.
This is basically like a stage play episode. There's 3 actors and a voice actor, right? There's almost nobody in it. Does that claustrophobic vibe for you like improve it? Would you rather see him like
No, yeah, I
deal with
think
the
that
outside?
works well. This episode actually maybe is one that would have worked in season 4 and spent more time on just like the atmosphere because it moved pretty quickly, really.
Yeah, kind of like a new exhibit sort of thing with the wax figures. You know, they could have done that. Just as observations, one thing watching this, I was surprised to see Telly with any hair at all. And I didn't put in trivia because it's kind of pointless, but it seems in 1965 he had to pay Pontius Pilate, then did the full shave and just kept it that way forever. So
I'm showing Mercy Kojak so she can know why we're surprised to see this guy with hair.
Yeah, it's him and Yul Brynner, right?
Oh, I
Him and
see.
Yul Brynner, just they don't. Yeah. You imagine they were, you know, like children that were bald, right?
He's very bald.
Yep.
Yeah. So seeing him with little hair was kind of like kind of blew my mind a little bit in this episode. So
I think I briefly dressed up as Kojak one time.
There you
shortly
go.
after becoming. I mean, it's literally just a lollipop and a pair of sunglasses, right? So it wasn't difficult. Yeah.
You could turn the knob on this episode a little bit and make it like a sitcom. Like and she's not trying to kill him. They just have this weird antagonistic relationship, and everyone thinks he's mildly crazy. That's easy. 60s
that
sitcom.
basically is what the Simpsons end up doing.
Yeah,
they have
true.
the old, oh, here's your problem, and he puts the switch to good.
That's one of my favorite bits ever.
Yeah, that was great.
And then again, like this when like the Simpsons, every time we see it, I'm like, it's the first time I see it in English because I didn't, I just didn't. So it was a whole new experience for me. It was a lot of fun. It was great. It was very funny.
Yeah. No, I still want them to be very antagonistic in my sitcom. Just, maybe it's not like death is not on the horizon for that one. So
yeah.
Go ahead.
It'd be like if Ted, but instead of it being the kid's bear, it was like the dad's bear.
They actually did an episode of that in the Ted TV show.
Nice.
Yeah, it's Denny the dump truck comes alive, except Denny the dump truck is homophobic and racist.
Wow.
So yeah, that's the Ted TV show is actually better than the movies, by the way.
I'm not surprised. Like, he's a very experienced TV guy, right? So
yeah, and it just works. But yeah, it works better in that weird kind of sitcom format, which I guess that's maybe what I'm reading into Living Doll a little bit.
Yeah.
I guess Ted and what's his name? Not Mark Wahlberg are not antagonistic in Ted though, so there's a big difference. Actually, one thing I thought Andrew was going to ask for this episode originally because one, he wants the creepy ones like this, and two, we spent 6 months systematically destroying a My Buddy doll until we finally doused it with gasoline and set it on fire, all for video, of course.
Of course.
So I started thinking that one's Telly's like trying to destroy this doll. Of course, the doll, there's some supernatural. Nothing he does, he's taken a saw to its neck and nothing happens. So I guess that's a undeniable supernatural aspect, or he's alone. So that could be insanity. I don't know. That's kind of where I was like, nah, he's trying to do that. That makes sense.
In my mind, as that was going on, I thought maybe nothing was happening to her, right? And I thought maybe, I know this is a dark thought, but I was like, maybe she latched to his daughter.
Oh, like she's getting sliced.
So yeah, she's getting sliced up, like he's killing his daughter. I was like, that would have been a little bit.
I was wondering if he was going to die in that scene, and as he's sawing her, he'd slip and slice.
Yeah, same. Like but something like that.
Maybe that would be in a version of like Jordan Peele's Twilight Zone. They probably couldn't show that in 1963
That's
television.
what I was thinking. Well, I was going to say you could do in the 80s one. So even by the 80s, I think but yeah, the Peele one for sure.
I
You know,
haven't seen any of the Peele ones, so I don't know. Maybe
I've seen a
maybe
couple.
that's
I mean,
PG-13 as well.
yeah,
Peele?
Jordan Peele did 2 seasons of The Twilight Zone in
Really?
2019. Yeah, I
that's what
think
we're
Matt's
doing after
planning
this
to go
one.
straight to that after this one, just to get some
Incredible.
buzz.
You are correct, sir.
And I guess
Incredible.
we'll slap out some bonus film and filth episodes on his movies, right?
Yeah, sure.
Well, because originally your plan was to do that on the Sci-Fi Sanctuary back in the day. That's why we held off on doing them for so long.
I do want to. Have you folks watched a lot of Looney Tunes? How deep is your
course.
Looney Tunes? Okay, just
Oh,
making
yeah.
sure.
Oh,
So I'm
well,
just.
I used to, when I was working at main school, during snack time, would just put Looney Tunes compilations up on YouTube. I was trying to get the kids, and it worked.
Who's your favorite Looney Tune?
Roadrunner.
Oh, my favorite.
I reckon Matt's a Bugs guy. He likes the.
I might be. I'm thinking
talking.
through. I think you're probably right. I'm probably a Bugs guy. So
I like Bugs best when he's with Daffy.
Yes.
Like
That's
the
something
old rabbit
going
season,
on
duck
also.
season thing.
Well, this works out then because I'm thinking Telly is Elmer Fudd, Tina is Bugs Bunny, and then Annabelle is just an unfunny Daffy Duck because she's
Right.
kind of like antagonistic to the situation. Daffy Duck would do that, but he'd be funny, right?
Right.
I mean, maybe she just needs to talk in that voice, and that would have helped if Annabelle spoke that way. Talking Tina she is very judgmental though, because it takes her 5 seconds to start threatening Telly.
I know.
It's like-
I also noticed.
He gives like one nasty look at her, and she's like, nope, you're getting canned.
But that's also why I thought maybe she carries like the daughter's,
Well, the ending narration kind of implies that she was like doing it to protect Christy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Of course, we all know dolls can't really talk, and they certainly can't commit murder, but to a child caught in the middle of turmoil and conflict, a doll can become many things: friend, defender, guardian, especially a doll like Talkie Tina, who did talk and did commit murder in the misty region of the Twilight Zone.
So you're going with the guardian part of that.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's implied, right, that that's part of it, that she was
in the middle.
because yeah, she's a doll. She's a little girl's doll, and she was just protecting her by killing her stepdad.
See, that's the thing in this, like I said earlier, and I really can't work out if this was supposed to be like a child abuse metaphor or not, because it's not. It's so subtle if it is.
Mm-hmm.
Well, but it still works, you know.
Oh, it's even if it's not like child abuse, it's like a child not understanding why the adults are fighting, which is like that's enough to mess a child up, right?
She doesn't know why she's not wanted.
Yeah,
right? She has no idea. So,
especially if her mum's been like, "This is your new daddy. He's gonna love you."
Yeah.
And then she doesn't understand why doesn't he? And it's like, well, because your mum didn't tell him you exist.
Yeah.
Like after the episode, I was like, Mercy, what would you do if when you moved into this apartment? I was like, oh, by the way, I've got a son and you're his mum now. And she was like, leave. I would leave.
I would leave. I would break up with you. Go, hi, hello, darling. Okay, I'm gonna talk to your dad a second, and then, are you out of your mind? I'm leaving the city. Never talk to me again. Block, delete. That's what I would do. But then again, it's 2014. No, 2014, sure. 2024.
Well, now I got to check the ages because I'm like, maybe this is just like Telly's Eric's trophy wife, you know?
Well, yeah, I mean, I was looking at that couple and thinking, oh, here's some Twilight Zone couple ages. It's always like a 40-year-old dude with like a 25-year-old woman.
Yeah, so he would have been 41 in this episode, which seems too young for that man, but whatever. What?
I think he was born pretty old.
What?
She's older.
Oh, really?
Born 1920. She would have been 43 in this episode.
She's looking good.
I was about to say good for her because I assumed it was a big age difference. So and
She's eating that carrot. Just carrots.
Oh, carrot diet. I'm just having a look through my notes. Anything else I really fun references?
But the sweet potato diet that K-pop stars do.
Is that a thing?
Yeah, they only have one sweet potato a day.
Oh, well, Christian Bale used to have one black coffee and an apple when he was losing weight for The Machinist.
That's not losing weight. That's killing yourself.
Yeah, well, that's Christian Bale.
Is it Bill Maher who says he only eats seeds?
I try not to listen to things that Bill Maher says, to be honest.
Yeah, but I think it's him that said I only eat seeds. all seed diet, which just seems a little.
Yeah, and now he's going to say that he's been
boring.
cancelled by the birds or whatever.
By the who?
The birds.
In the air, those birds.
Yeah, the birds.
Well, they're watching him.
Yeah.
Pigeons aren't real. They're watching you.
That's
So-
true.
Mercy, if all the toys in this room came to life, which one would have the best chance of killing me?
Oh
Hmm.
my god.
I will say this Yoda here is like
Giorno
shown up in
Verde,
weird
Juan.
places, like internationally.
Hmm.
He was always in my parents' house. He was in the bathroom, and then at some point he showed up on the Family Shrine in Japan, which I'm of course one of my parents probably put it in there like at some point, but it's just weird, right? It's like, there's Yoda. What's he doing here? And he keeps appearing in weird places. So Yoda would probably try and kill me.
Well,
They don't have the character's powers. It's just.
I was
toy.
gonna say if it's only a toy, then maybe one of the Greymons.
Yeah, they got like pretty spiky
Exactly,
hands. So one of these
exactly. Or even like the Optimus Prime over there, because I think he can like definitely poke your eyes out with that.
I think this thing could kill me.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Is Lotso fearsome enough?
He could smother you. In
He
your
will
sleep.
smother you in your sleep.
Yeah. Okay. There we
You'd
go.
be like,
I mean, you buy
strawberries,
Lotso.
and then you'd wake up dead.
Exactly. You're
That's
the
the
last smell.
the
So-
I'm
sense
assuming
gone.
it's long since lost the strawberries.
He's lost his strawberry smell. He did have it though.
Oh, there's Cookie Monster I was telling you about.
Aw. Oh, that Cookie Monster.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Oh, I just made a disaster. Yeah, yeah. So Cookie could kill you, probably. So, yeah. I don't know. No, Cookie likes everybody, right?
Is- Yeah, I think he could smother you too.
Yeah. They're big enough for that.
Yeah.
I mean, you want to think this Godzilla's too small. I don't think he can kill me.
He can get down your throat, that tail.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
oh,
like,
okay, yeah, good
if it
thinking
really
there.
wanted to kill you, it would like find any of your orifices. Is that how you say that?
Yeah.
Okay. And like jam itself into it.
The old Ant-Man Thanos technique.
Yeah.
So yeah. And we all have toys that can kill us, I suppose.
Yeah.
How deep is your Chucky knowledge? I saw the original one or two like in the early 90s and not
Yeah,
since.
basically
And
same.
I saw Bride of Chucky when it came out in the theaters and not since. I mean, I loved it. I just haven't watched it again, you know?
I don't
Yeah.
think I've seen Chucky.
I'm not a big horror watcher. And I would have watched a couple back in the day because they were amusing, but I couldn't tell you anything.
This is one of those things. I'm wondering what movies had inanimate objects trying to kill you before this. This could be the first place, which it would explain why Talkie Tina doesn't have to move or anything.
Well,
Her
Twilight
eyes
Zone's
open.
done it a little bit.
Yeah.
We had the ventriloquist dummy.
Right. Well, he just takes over that guy's soul or something. So
Yeah.
he's still alive at the end, in a way. I guess we could go ahead and throw a few questions on this one then. In this episode, who is entering or going through the Twilight Zone?
It's Eric, but at the very end, Annabelle does.
I was just gonna say the same thing. Like the daughter never does.
Yeah, I think the whole point is the Twilight. It's protecting her by
Yeah.
surrounding her with the Twilight Zone, but she's not.
But she's not
Aware.
in it, yeah.
Is she
But
part of
Maybe
it then?
all children are always in the Twilight Zone.
maybe so.
Halfway
I mean,
into
you know,
the
they
zone.
can see ghosts and things
Imagination
like
and
that. Yeah.
I mean, the actor had stepped into the Twilight Zone last time she was on the show, right? So, but I was thinking maybe she's kind of the Twilight Zone, or her subconscious is, and making this happen. You know, something like that. I think that's kind of the theory you're setting forth, that you know, she's got some kind of creepy kid power. That's it's not the It's a Good Life one where he's arrogant, obnoxious, and it's like right on the table. This is like more of a subconscious thing, but a thought. So.
I mean, it could be that the magic is with the doll. It's latched onto her, like Mercy was saying.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was also just thinking of the whole forbidden planet. Your subconscious is doing it, and you can't stop it, sort of thing. I mean, maybe she don't want to stop it. I don't know. They don't really spend much time with the daughter in the end, so.
No.
But we have to have
I'm
all the
assuming they
scenes of.
can't really
Maybe
get
that's
her
where
working that much.
this one could have been like 50 minutes, right? Because you don't want to sacrifice all that time of Eric in his workshop trying to destroy the thing. For me, that was the best scene of the thing.
Yeah, the absolute Looney Tunes, but
Yeah.
still fun.
TNT and going, oh.
Because if
Well-
you spend too much time with the daughter, then you can make the dad too cruel.
Yes.
Whereas by not really making the daughter a character, you can feel for him like he's just had this kid thrust on him. You don't want the audience to fall in love with the kid.
No. When Annabelle's about to leave, I assume she's taking her daughter with her.
Yeah, that was but she was like, the daughter was already in bed at that point, right?
Yeah, but
So I guess she was
also,
planning on leaving that morning.
yeah, but also just like in airplanes, first yourself and then the kid.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you gotta pack for yourself and then pack for the kid,
Mm.
right?
So
That's what I think.
I
Maybe she
guess
was
that's
packing
where
for
they
the
were.
kid. Who knows?
Wait, so the actual Annabelle doll,
Hmm.
the real life one,
Yes.
when is that from?
You mean the original?
Yeah. Oh, so
It's a real doll.
Annabelle, the creepy doll from the real Demon Slayers, that all the Amityville movies and stuff are based on,
Mhm.
is from 1970.
No.
So 7 years after this episode aired, this real event occurred, and the doll was named Annabelle. So maybe Ed and Elaine just watched this episode of The Twilight Zone and made up all that.
Oh, who knows?
Well, there is
Maybe.
we've talked about I think we talked about in the dummy episode, Andrew and I talked about Robert the doll, where you have to ask him for permission if you want to take a picture of him.
Oh
Ah,
yeah.
yeah.
Florida, yeah. So that predates this episode. So, someone might have caught
Really,
that story.
because I saw somebody posting a picture of that doll on Facebook, and it was like the kind of like chain that is like, if you don't apologize to him, you're gonna get cursed. And I got mega anxious, and I was like, I'm not gonna. Oh my God! And I was telling Luke, I saw something really scary, and it got me anxious. And he's like, God. But then a friend of mine, as a response to that, I don't know if you know this, but like sometimes because they do that kind of stuff, right? If you don't share, your mom's gonna die, things like that. Um, so they come up with, with replies that is like, here you go, this is a colorful dog, and this dog will protect you from any curse, anywhere, anytime. And that so and seeing the dog, I went, ah. So what I'm gonna say is everything is in your head, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But Ed and Lorraine's whole career started with Annabelle in
Mm,
1970, and then Amityville was like 5 years later. So 7 years earlier, they were just sitting around watching The Twilight Zone, and they were both in like their mid-30s. So they probably were watching this show. So
and then 7 years, that's enough time to forget about it again, right? It's
yeah,
like in
but
the
to
back
have
of
in
your
the back
mind.
of your mind, right?
Right.
Creepy doll, the name Annabelle, put it together.
Yeah. I mean, you could do so much with creepy dolls and clowns, There's
mm.
there's so
Yeah.
much ground you can work with there. So, did Eric deserve his weird death in the Twilight Zone, or is he just a stumble bum?
I don't know if he deserved any of this. Like we because we don't see the exact situation that got him here.
Yeah.
It's like, did he? How much did he know about like this daughter and this woman before he married her?
Also, we should note with the deserve question, look at what Rod says, and Rod doesn't really say anything about him. He's just talking about Talkie
Well,
Tina.
again, he does mention Defender and Guardian.
Yeah, I
Like,
mean,
he
Mhm.
implies that the Talkie Tina is a friend to Christie,
Yeah.
which I guess is saying that, for Christie's sake, she had to be killed. Oh,
yeah,
the Wikipedia page on Annabelle mentions this episode.
Really?
as it
Yeah.
should. So yeah,
Ah.
I'm looking at the opening narration again, which just says to Eric Strader, she is the most unwelcome addition. Again, that just makes him a curmudgeon, a bit
Yeah,
of a
he
curmudgeon.
doesn't like her, but that doesn't mean that she was out to get him from the start.
I mean, what has my daughter done that horribly? I don't think she brought anything home like that. That was what's that? I think the only thing that I found particularly annoying is just whistling.
Maybe if it's bad whistling.
Not bad whistling. I've gotten over it now, but when her and her cousin just started whistling all the time, and
Oh, I see.
I mean, that's impressive in Japan. Most of my students can't whistle.
there we go. Maybe that's why they're doing it all the time. So, but I did have a quick phase. There's too much whistling in this room. So, but yeah. Do I deserve to die for that? For being annoyed by whistling?
Yes.
No.
I knew those were going to be
I
your
mean, yes.
answers. But yeah. So I guess I'm gonna say he did not deserve it. He looks like a guy that could be cruel and mean. That is what Telly Savalas looks like. He looks like a scary man, right? But he just seems to be grumpy, basically.
Yeah, he's just going
Until he
through
becomes
something.
obsessed. He does become obsessed trying to destroy this doll. But once you're trying, I mean, at that point, why wouldn't he? You know, he's putting fire to it and nothing's happening. Does anybody want to give him some blame? You can disagree with me if you want.
I will say Robert the doll. Maybe a little bit earlier.
I thought he's a lot earlier. I thought he was like
Yeah,
turn of the
he was
century.
bought in 1904, but I don't know when the haunted stuff started happening.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, so Robert the doll may have predated this episode of the Twilight Zone, but Annabelle came after.
Yeah, I assume Robert did, but
it doesn't give convenient dates on the Wikipedia article.
Okay. Do we have to ask permission from him to talk about him?
Oh my God.
Oh no.
Let's just don't put his image up on the screen and we're okay.
Okay. Thank you, Robert.
There's a picture of him on Wikipedia. Did they ask permission to take that picture, I wonder?
I would assume so. I mean, if you win, you would like obviously you'd want to ask permission because that's the thing to do there. You know, like you go to the shrine in Japan, you clap 2 times, you throw a coin, you clap again, right? Bow, blah.
If you're a doll and you're in a museum, you're basically consenting to get your picture taken. So, just saying.
How about the tripometer for this one, with 0 not being trippy, 5 being very trippy?
Well, I knew that question was coming, which is why I just quickly checked the Robert the doll thing, because this is very early in the concept of a haunted doll. So putting it in the context of 1963, I think my score has to be a little bit higher. But if you're talking about it, if it came out today, this would be getting like a 0. Coming out when it did, it could be like a 3 or a 4.
I was thinking 3.5, so you can use tag onto that, but you don't like decimal points, so you can do your answer. I'll do mine.
I think a good 3. A good.
Well, I'll say 4 then, and then we're all.
I guess this is the trippiest one we've got this season so far. I just as I said it a few times, but I'm like, this season's good so far, but it's not that trippy. So it'll be interesting.
You're putting this higher than 40,000 feet?
Yes. 40,000 feet kind of has more of an action feel to it. Probably it's Richard Donner directing, right? And then compare it to, which you watched the Twilight Zone movie version, which is like way trippier, and that's now Roger Miller directing, so that also makes sense.
I guess I'm just in my head, I'm upping the trippiness just because of Shatner's acting.
Yeah, but it starts off mannered and doesn't go whack till the end, right? Where in the movie, it's John Lithgow's nuts from the start.
If we did the movie again in 2024, you've got to put Nicolas Cage on that plane, right?
Yeah, sure. Although it would have been better to do it 20 years ago.
Gremlin on the wing.
I mean,
you gotta believe me.
And they went for Adam Scott instead. Oops.
I have a question. If you guys were a haunted doll, what would be the phrase that you would say to the person that you're trying to haunt?
I've heard don't say talkie Tina's because YouTube bots actually find that one.
So context, you're a children's toy and you get bought and a little boy's playing with you and you know that the dad is like, he doesn't like the child. You want to protect the child. What do you say to get the dad to back off?
Playtime's over.
Oh, that's fun. Playtime's over. Like that.
Sure.
That's nice.
I'm gonna email nudes to your boss.
That one seems somehow less threatening, though. I mean,
it would fuck up his life more.
Yeah.
Oh,
okay.
There's the one you're gonna have to bleep.
We got to get one in there, right?
Yeah.
Where are we if we don't have that?
Me as a doll, I would say something like, I live inside your walls. Or something like that.
One of my all-time favorite internet interactions I've seen was a screenshot where someone was talking about like having schizophrenia, and then someone just replied to her, "I live in your walls."
My favorite version of that is in the movie Lost Highway. Have you seen that?
No, I think you and Mark have talked about it a bunch.
Yeah, it's a Robert Blake, future murderer, shows up in pasty white makeup and is like, "Call me, I'm at your house right now." And he calls and he answers at his house while he's also standing in the room. So that is a baller move for sure.
Very much so. Or what about, I'm gonna eat your nails?
Like
But
all
the
of
ones
it.
are cut, because that's fine.
Yeah,
You're
I was about to
welcome
say,
to
if,
them.
No,
if they're
I'm
just
not gonna
kind of
do that.
giving me
I
a
mean
nice
your actual
trim.
nails.
You mean the whole thing? Okay.
Yeah, I mean
Yeah.
the whole. I mean even the bone, everything.
I'm a bone eater.
That's it.
Yeah,
I'm
that's what
Talkie Luke, and I'm a bone eater.
that does it. That does it. Okay, good. We stumbled into the correct new catchphrase.
Love it very much.
Do y'all want to throw out any other observations or thoughts on Living Doll?
I think when you told me about it, you accidentally said Tiny Tina.
Oh, maybe.
And that sent me down a whole rabbit hole because the Borderlands games have a famous character called Tiny Tina. And I've never played those games, so I was like, oh man, am I going to have to research Borderlands so I can bring it to this podcast? So I was glad I didn't.
No, you didn't have to. I guess the only thing I didn't say that maybe I throw out is I did like that they had it felt like a good horror house. It looked like the Elm Street house in that establishing shot. So
well, it had to have that stairwell for him to fall down. So
right. But yeah, first top rate horror house here. So that's good.
what did you think of the death?
Little anticlimactic.
They just all a death like that needs is you need to put in a really unpleasant crunch sound to make it clear that his neck broke.
Yeah,
That's what was missing.
that could yes, I
Yeah.
agree.
We were
And then
trying to
he
figure
did
it
a bit
out.
too much of a Hollywood like
Yeah.
death. Whereas if he just been more like
That would have been even more gruesome.
Like
we were
done.
trying to figure
It's
out
'cause
how
they-
he was gonna die.
it's because they needed to have the shot of him like looking at the doll and knowing it killed him.
I guess so.
Whereas when you fall down the stairs and break your neck, I think you die a lot more instantly than that.
I don't know how you I don't know which version you watch, but when I play the Blu-rays, it offers original audio or remastered audio. I wonder if the remastered audio fixes that or adds in a sound effect.
Oh, maybe.
Seems like something you could do.
In the remastered version, he kicks her first.
You were saying that that people love throwing. No, in the Twilight Zone, everybody jumps out of the window.
Yeah, I was sure he was going to fall out a window, and that was how she was going to kill him.
You
They
know,
haven't done that for a couple seasons.
I was
though.
about to say, I think even they've kind of figured out people need to stop falling out of windows on the show. We'll see how we get through season 5. Well, did Shatner technically fall out of a window in 20,000 feet?
He kind of got sucked out of a window. I mean, I haven't watched it yet for the podcast, so I haven't seen it for like 10 years. But
that it is a different thing though. So I being a little snarky by saying that. I guess we'll wrap this one up for today. This actually is getting close to Halloween. What's your gaming like late October?
Well, game show will be airing. We'll probably do something slightly Halloweeny. Hyrule Field Report should have some sort of episodes out, whether that's the original Zelda on the NES or we're going to jump straight to Echoes of Wisdom, which releases in 3 days as we record this.
Oh, good, I got you now.
Yep, game show will be out. We'll be not game show. Monster Mash will be back in your ears on February 28th. We just got the release date for Monster Hunter literally this morning. And of course, you can listen to Luke Loves Pokemon every week to hear me talk about Pocket Monsters. Check out the episode on Tinker Tink and Family, because I did talk about the Twilight Zone in that one.
Right.
Because it's a little gremlin that smashes airplanes.
I'll just leave my end of the plug is that's all on Patreon at Podcastio Podcastius, because these podcasts are all connected. It's a nice inbred weave of podcasts.
I'm a very unspecial guest.
Right. You're the unspecialist guest of all. We're seeing a special guest. She's not on every podcast. Yeah.
I mean, she's on more now because she lives with me. So.
True.
Exactly. And if you're interested, can I plug myself?
Go ahead.
If you're interested to follow me on twitter.com, as you know, while it lasts, at MERCYESCRIBE.
Mercy Escribe.
Mercy Escribe. So please follow me if you like anime. I guess.
And then you got the letters today. Very nice. But you did look like me when I used to say the initials for our podcast, and you, it's like, right, saying letters.
Well, for Mercy, it's because she wants to say the letters in Spanish.
Yeah.
Right. For me,
For you, it's just because you're dyslexic.
No, I was always the first kid out of the spelling bees. They'd be like cat, I'd be like SAT, like goodbye. I know how to spell cat. It just came out wrong, you know?
No, I can understand completely.
Okay. Well, Luke, I guess you should give us your new catchphrase one more time.
I'm Toki Tina, and I can smell your cunt.
Are you gonna bleep that one too?
That's problem, not mine.
I have to believe that's fine. Did I send you a link for the sex offender shuffle?
I've seen it before, but I know
Okay.
it. Yeah.
Sorry, you're making me think of the guy that says he went to the bathroom and then like the video goes out for a minute. No, and also
Matt told me that him and his friends were like, "What's the worst thing we could say to this waitress right now?" They didn't do it, but that's what they decided would be the.
That would have been the worst thing, man.
Yeah.
Of course, he was good. No, he wasn't going to smile. He's going to be like, I didn't say it, like slightly angry. There's also the David Cross bit where he's like, where you go to the diner or whatever, and like you're super polite and everything, but every sentence you say, you just end with a yeah, bitch, and then I'd like to get the Chardonnay. Is that what are the wines in red or white? Yeah, bitch. But he's like, two things, if you have to be ready, if you're probably gonna get away with it 2 or 3 times, and then you have to tip heavily. But
Man.
David Cross bits. Okay, there's me giving a bad recollection of a joke to end this recording.
Yeah.
I